stood out to you that said, hey, it's a tough question because you think back how many votes you take, but just you added your 2 cents into it, right? Okay, well, let me say this. Board of Education, of all the offices, is the toughest and the most thankless job because you're never right. You're always right, and you're never right. Yeah. So a person that steps forward has to have a strong constitution. But so is there? With that said, I say that to you because people say, "Doug, oh, you were a board of..." No, I was not, and I'm glad I was not because it takes a certain kind of person. Yeah. So tell me. So give me a kind of something that you felt what you feel strongly about.
There was 2 particular things, and I'll never forget being back there because I'm like, number one, they say it's never what you think it is. When you get back there, you find out it's all this other stuff. Yeah. But there was one case, and it was a family complaint against the district, and I was able to relate and listen based on my experiences in education, from being a parent first. Listening to the case as a parent, listening to it as a teacher, listening to it as an administrator, and listening to it as a board member at the time. I was able to contribute to the conversation from those perspectives, helping them understand the importance of settling the case. It had been enough time, but I think I was a swinging my comments swung the conversation. We were able to settle that.
So was the board? You helped the board realize or see what was going on and help them come. All right, that's good.
Yes, so, and that, and no one else in the room had that other than the I'll say the supervisor that was aware of what was really happening behind closed doors. But as far as board members, I was able to really guide the discussion from those other perspectives and not just so much this is just a number, or this is no, but these are lives and experiences, and there's a lot to look at from different perspectives, and it's important that we do that.
So it was something was just going on, and you said, wait a minute, let's get back to the basics and let's look at it.
Because I was able to ask questions like, well, where was the teacher, or what was her responsibility, or how involved was the parent, what was the parent's complaints, what did administration do, and what can we do to make sure this does not happen again.
And
that felt good.
Okay.
To be able to,
so you saw changes when you saw changes to that.
Yes.
Okay.
And that was one of the things that I looked into, and that has been a part of my platform even going forward, which was special education. And making sure that there was coverage, making sure teachers felt qualified and were qualified, that they had the supports in place, even administratively, that they got the accreditation, or not so much accreditation as much as it's the
training. No,
the appreciation of what they were trying to do, and understand there were more, and just collaborations in the community. I think it's so important that you need strong leadership, like you said, that conviction from the head all the way down to the last person doing whatever their last job is, turning the lights off at night. You need to, encourage.
And that's tough to get everybody on the same page to cooperate and work the same goals. It's tough to do. So, I mean, and you kind of felt like you kind of moved the needle because
it's doable. It is doable.
you sound like someone else I know, the mutual friend we have. So, it never says it can't be done. It's all right. We can do it.
Yeah, where there's a will, there's a way.
So. All right, so you went in there and you taught. Well, what is your background? You mentioned it. Were you a teacher one time?
Yes, I taught in Vineland for 16 years. I taught preschool, then I went on and I went to one of the toughest districts in South Jersey. I went to Salem School District, taught first grade there. That's when I went back for administration. I was like, okay, let me see if I can do more from that vantage point. But I'll say all of that is taking me to where I am now, where I'm in the home with intervention. I'm wherever the child is, but I'm able to work with the families because I do early intervention for Inspira and another private company, and it allows me to create synergy in the home. And as a teacher, you always wonder, half of the problems I have in the classroom are based on other things I don't know that happen in the home, and you never get in the home.
You never,
So this gives me a chance to really, help parents, connect with resources, like use everything that I've been through up until this point.
Well, is that something that you like fell into, or is it something that you were teaching and all of a sudden well, let me say, you were teaching first grade at Salem, and all of a sudden you got a chance. Someone had an opportunity. You said, "Oh, I can do that. I'll take that." Is that how?
Not
or no?
Exactly.
Okay.
I had to take care of my parents, and both of them passed away, and that was the turning point in my life, and that brought me back to Vineland because I had to be flexible. I needed to be able to jump, move. You know, my parents were hospitalized for, and I took them to get the best care, so I was out of state, or so that was
it fell on your shoulders.
It did, and it just worked out that's where I ended up being, because I mentioned to you earlier before we came on that I also consult. Yeah. I'm an educational consultant, and so all of those things just kind of start working into play, and they work for me because I get to travel, I get to meet other people, I get to wear all the different hats, and it's satisfying. And I think that's what my parents' death and that life change taught me.
Well, sometimes things like that just test you and try that. Actually, that's what makes you grow and learn more, and you learn different things than being maybe instead of 16 years, you were 20 years, and you actually had to make a change in order to, like you said, you had to pick up the ball and run with it. It's not always easy, but you did it, and then also, I guess when you got back into it, you understood. Wait a minute, this is where I wrap my skills go better at than where I was doing before. Yeah. So, did you do the early intervention in Salem or all through the county? Or
I'm able to do it throughout the state of New Jersey.
Okay.
And I'll circle back just a little bit as to what brought me into kind of running for the school board. I had applied for a VP position.
Okay.
And I did not get that VP position. And during the interview process, I said, you should have been looking for me. I was born and raised in Vineland, attended all pre-K through high school here, went to college here, raised my family here, went back, taught, did the whole, you should have been looking for me. I'm like the prime candidate. Why didn't I get hired? And that made me really start looking into how is this district run. I didn't even do that when I was teaching here.
You never asked the question, that only when you got away from it,
when
you
I
came
got away
back.
From it and came back and was like, hey, you should have been looking for me. I thought I was a prime candidate, for this position from the, bottom to the top. But, the whole transition, stay home, child to...
Yeah, don't worry, I understand what you're talking about. I did the same thing, so
it made me really, it opened my eyes to the importance of getting people involved and aware of what's going on and making new friends. And so thank you for bringing me onto the show. This kind of, let's, talk to each other.
I'm glad you're here. So it's I offered it to you. You took it up on it. I appreciate that, and and that's how people get to know you. I mean, maybe a different group of people get to know you because you're reaching out, and the radio reaches a lot of different people. Maybe not all for violence, but there are other areas that you deal with that they get to know who you are. Yeah. I forgot to mention the number 856-696-0092. So if you like to call, please call in, and if you want to talk to it, ask questions, fine, or just have something to say, please do. So how long have you been doing the early intervention stuff? Was that a short period of time, or was that for a while?
It's been a couple of years now.
Okay.
About a year for working with Inspira, doing it.
Why did Inspira pick it up? Like, is this a program they had, or did you start this program?
No, Inspira's had this program for a long time. And it's funny. If you don't know, you don't know. Because when I was teaching, preschool here in Vineland, all kids first, we experienced intervention, but it just seems like it wasn't connected. It didn't seem like, you only knew about it if you needed it. If you didn't need the services, teachers had to do what they had to do. Special needs kids are in the classroom, but you didn't get those kind of supports. But from my understanding, they've had this program for at least 30 years.
Wow.
Yeah. And a friend of a friend told me about it. And it was just the perfect timing. It gave me, again, like I said, flexibility.
Things happen at a certain time.
Yeah.
And you never know why, but it happens at that time.
Yeah.
And then now, actually, because I know we're trying to let people know things are happening in the county, but we try to tie to all the groups that are doing it. We try to pull them together. Some success, not always successful, but we try. A lot of people talk to each other. By that way, I'm a liaison to social services and human services. which I'm like a duck out of water, but I'm learning a lot. But you find that most of those administrators actually talk to each other. They already know, hey, Doug, I already know about it. I got it. Well, did you look at it this way? Well, we didn't, but yeah, I get it. Well, okay, as long as you guys are talking, I don't want to get in the way. I step back because they know they've been involved with it a long time. So it's good that you say that, because hopefully that those tools should be brought to teachers. They're not by themselves. The administrators, hopefully they know these programs too. This way, the teachers, when they do need help, like you were talking about, I could even see a card. Here, keep this in mind. Keep it in your back pocket, because you may need this, and so you're not alone. You don't have to deal with it all yourself. Is that what you're kind of talking about?
You're raising a very good point. This past weekend on Friday evening, there was an event at the Carl Arthur Center, Plum. I believe that's like Plum and Woods, around Plum and Wood Street. And it was a Boys and Girls Club, and they collaborated with several organizations that provide resources for families. And I was there with Inspira for early intervention. And so it was a trunk or treat event. So we were able to hand out literature, because there's a disconnect, like you said, about services. A lot of times administrators need to know, but we need parents to be equipped. It's like we need boots on the ground. We need teachers to be equipped, guidance counselors to know what's out there, because early intervention is available. But I know someone had brought up an idea about like mobilization. If we could have a van and take it to centers or to locations, so parents don't have to search, or people don't, can be
bring all the resources to bear type of thing?
This particular one.
But
nevertheless, it's available. There are numbers that you can call to find out about it, but Inspira does provide that in their children's department.
Okay.
And so, once you make the phone call, if your child is under the age of 3 and is not reaching his or her milestones, and there's delays in speech, there's other developmental delays, you can reach out to someone, and someone will come out and do an assessment. And then it's best that you get your child treated as soon as possible when there's, indicators that there may be some delays or
are you still with Inspira?
Right? Oh, absolutely. Okay. I'm not going anywhere. I love them.
Okay. All right. Well, I was going to mention maybe a rival, but we've attracted virtuals also in the county now, and they actually have a program for autism, all kids that have autism, to help them kind of more, bring them together more mainstream. You say that, but the kids need time to and routine. And actually, they provide that. They have actually at Rowan University, Rowan, South Jersey, they have a building out front. So again, and that's just one thing they do. They have mental health things. They also, kids have had trauma. They bring them in to be able to give them therapy. I was very impressed. So if you guys do all that, that's great. I would learn. I should know that. But this took a tour, and this they brought this into that building in the Rowan Medicine building on Orchard or Campus Drive. So that's just for your information.
No, but I had a chance to meet them too at another event, at a public event. I got a chance to meet one of the representatives from Rowan University. A lot of programs are popping up right now because mental health is such a big issue. Autism is on the rise. And so a lot of services were North Jersey. We see some services starting to come down, pop up in this area.
Well, actually, that's great, because it's nice to have it available instead of, like you said, North Jersey. We need them here also, but the goal is to help. And once we get it rolling, and you don't know, but we've been talking about the homeless issue on this program many, many times, that it's not just being homeless, it's drug addiction, which we have a great programs that we pull together, a lot of good people, but mental issues also that, and I said this numerous times, that the law in New Jersey has to change a little bit to help people cope a little better, give them time to cope.
Because these are hurting people. There's always a story. Everyone has a story as to how they got there, and it's just getting them the support.
Well, and like you said, getting there. So somewhere along the line, something fell down, and and sometimes you have to pull back to get all the way back to where they fell down to build them up. And And so why? And I always say this: why do people care about it? Because the bottom line is that you don't like the people don't want to see homeless people. Well, just remember, every time you do work with this and get 15 or 20% of the people into something to get them back on their feet, that's less than they have to stand out, or they're there, or that they're begging, or they're in the woods. It's less individuals you do it. So you pare it down until you have less of a population. It's only growing, but less of a population, and get them on their feet. It only helps us, the taxpayer, to be able to get them going and get them, hey, all right, let's get them on their way. Some people, you can't do that right now, but you take what you can and work on the harder core down the road.
I agree.
And I'll just say this, Cruz Gomez, the council, he came on here and he described the program, how Vineland is going with county resources, or every resources we can bring to bear. God went to them to say, here, we'll bring. I'm sorry to go off.
No, this is all good stuff. We are just talking about what our great county is doing to help the people that live here. We live here too.
We all live here. So
I appreciate when I hear my tax dollars were spent on something that I would consider doing, because I look at it like this: we're all like one step, one disaster away from trauma and, a situation like that. So I'm mindful of that. That could have been me.
Well, that's absolutely correct. You never know what health crisis you have decided, I pay my taxes, or do I buy the medicine that no one should ever face. That's the worst.
Yeah.
That people, and there are people out there all the time decided, and they're, that we could really go off of that. I have a lot of theories about how we... But that's another issue, and we have to.
We're working on it.
We're working on it, one step at a time, and that's why we bring everybody to bear. And and you're saying that you're bringing your knowledge to bear to the Board of Education,
Absolutely.
the City of Vineland. I think the last time, and I could be way off now, I remember as a city council, I think the budget for the City of Vineland Board of Ed was like almost $192 million. It would have been more at the time. It's probably more now. That was a lot then. Do you know what the budget is?
I didn't quote it this year.
Okay, well, that's all right, because it was mind-boggling amount of money. And the only reason I got a chance to look at it is because at that time they actually voted the budget was voted on by the council when the voters decided to knock it down, and they had to make changes. And I always remember they go, Doug, we have $100,000 difference. They were laying off like 80 people to make the 100,000, and I was like, you have 100. And they worked. It was the world was falling down. Everything was crumbling. I'm saying this is maybe a future Board of Ed. The world was falling down. Would fall down 100,000 out of $192 million budget. I said, "Are you?" I'm like, "Are you?" So we ended up. We hired all the 80 aides back. We found money elsewhere. They had I remember they had 3 people they had on the budget and never hired, which added up to all of that.
Okay.
And so I just throw that out to you, that by looking at the budget, we could have saved more, but that was what our charge was, is to make sure we could pass a different budget, and we did. And so I throw that to keep that in mind, so that sometimes the budget has to be reviewed and at your level, because it has to be questioned, some of the things that are done, and maybe spent better, or more wisely the money can be put, what can be funded that may have a better impact. Just to throw that.
No, but that I believe that's why it's so important to have a variety of thinkers at the table. If you want, different perspectives, or we need different people that are able to observe it, assess it from different backgrounds, different experiences. And I know it's important to have someone with an educational background that's in the field working with families and resources, etc., that can bring that experience. Also as a female, a mother, a grandmother, a woman of color, etc., to the table. And so this is why I really want the seat on the board.
Well, that's you heard that. You said a lot in that statement there. So sometimes you need to have different perspectives. You have to see. You need checks and balances on stuff. Are you willing to? Well, I never met you not to speak up, okay. So this is kind of but sometimes it's not always the most popular stepping up and saying, "Wait a minute, this isn't right." Is that something maybe your first term, did you feel that was important that you stepped up and said, "Wait a minute, back"? Is that something that's in your nature to do that, or tell me your style?
I would say the same conviction that's making me run for the fourth time. It's the same kind of veracity, same kind of attitude that I have about making decisions that are rational, that are realistic, that are beneficial. I approach it the same way, and I will say I do my best to do it before we get to that table in front of everyone, so we don't make a fool of ourselves. I try to have the side conversations first.
Okay.
And then we can agree when we all get in, at those meetings. But I don't have a problem speaking up, and even more so now.
Why?
I don't have a problem. More so now because I don't think we have any more time to waste about certain issues. I understand what happens when you don't get your point across. I know it's important to do it more so. I have not exactly regrets, but I think there was one particular issue, and I'm like, I wish I had said in front of everyone what I had said after the meeting. So, I'm going into it with this mentality that I'm not going to miss the moment.
Well, I'll just say you do your best at the time with what you have in front of you. You can't say the perfect thing. In this case, you remembered, but sometimes you don't say the perfect thing. So I'll just say that. But as you think back, because you play it in your head 100,000 times and how you did it, but it's what you said is the most appropriate thing at the time because you were prepared. Whatever it was, you said what you had to say. Never regret that.
Thank you.
You say what you have to say what you say at the time. If you hold back with someone's they're making you hold, that's a problem.
Oh, no.
That I have a problem with myself. That you have to, you say what if you don't voice your opinion, you live with it because you didn't speak up and say what you thought. Doesn't mean you have to argue with people or fight with them, but you should at least people know where you're coming from, and hopefully they may agree or not agree, but at least they know that. All right, that's what you believe, and that's actually a great thing. All right, that's what you believe. All right, we know where you're coming from. That's great. I can deal with that because there's no. Well, I don't know what's she gonna do this. I don't know, or what he's gonna do. No, here's what I believe. May not be what you believe, but that's why you're running for office to say your piece. So I say that to you. So you can't regret anything if you feel you believe it. So, all right.
And what was supposed to happen happened. So I'm pleased with the final results after that, and
Okay.
And it's like what you said. It's a thankless job. It's volunteer. You have to do it based on your convictions. You don't get paid.
Just remember that Board of Ed is a volunteer position. So always remember that. It's like being umpires get paid pretty big bucks now, but when I did it was not that big bucks, and but that was what you did, and your job was to be an arbiter to make the right decision for what you know at that time, and you're saying you're going to do that. You've done it already.
Yes.
You bring what we've already talked about to bear to make decision on what you believe. Do you see something coming down the road that's again, it might be a reason why you see more issues coming down the road that you want to step in because you're anything that jumps out at you that you think that, hey, I need to be on the board at that time or is this just, hey, I can bring things just like before, I can bring stuff to bear that I know. I'm just throwing that out to you.
It's both. It's both. I know that a lot of teachers are concerned, parents are concerned about some budgetary things that are expected to come down the pike. Parents are concerned, so I'm guarded.
Do you want to say something about that? Like what budget things you're concerned with?
I I've had the opportunity. I'm not going to go too far into, but I've had the opportunity to talk to some parents and some anxious teachers, and some people. I get some administrators that are like, we're going to do what needs to be done anyway. We're going to make the best of whatever happens. However, I'll say as it relates, this one is just standing out. I've heard parents be concerned about some of the food issues as it relates to maybe some of the supports they may get, like the SNAP program. Some people are concerned about insurances. How is that going to affect them long term? Are they going to be able to afford? We were talking about medicine, or pay the electric bill. Jobs, etc. So,
but can you do something at your level with that, though?
What I can do, I believe, is just make sure that we're communicating to our families, making connections with partnerships from the district with the school system. I believe I can advise when we're having these conversations about what can we do if this happens. We still can do X, Y, and Z and support things that come down the pike. And then again, being equipped to answer questions for people that may ask board members, hey, how do I do this? What's going on? Just keeping people informed as well.
I mean, you're not alone, because this is things we're involved with. So by connecting and talking, which you do, if there's, and I'll just throw this out, that information is out there that can be provided. You don't have to be an expert. I told you I'm not an expert, but I've learned a lot to where, all right, here's where I go, or here's who I talk to get the information I need. So keep that in mind, that you don't have to reinvent the wheel. I don't reinvent the wheel. The wheel's spinning. So how do we get the wheel? How do we show people with the wheel, like where they have to be, or how they get this, or how do they do it, or what's holding them back, or if this doesn't work anymore, what's the next step? Where do we go from here? So I
and that's one of my strengths. Really, it is. And I'm glad, because that's what you're doing too. It's being able to look at the issue, see the process, and put those steps in place to get to the resolve.
Okay, that's important. You get people come to you. They're not looking. They're looking for answers. It's not the process. They're looking for the answer.
Like, how do I get right here?
Yeah, and it's important. If you show people that, okay, right. Got it. It's not
it's not rocket science, like you said. However, it still needs to be made. It still needs to be done. It still has to be a priority.
So that. Okay, well,
if that makes sense.
No, that makes sense. Is there anything particular in the school system itself that you look at? I'll give you an example, and I'm shocked when they said, they go one time, and I don't take this. This is just me spouting, talking to someone that they talked about the Divine High School. That we have a lot of. This might have been a few years ago now, but. We've started the middle schools. That Vineland High School could have been a natural fit for all the middle schools together, and moving to the new. I'm dating myself, but Dominic Pilla's school could have been a little expansion to high school, because and I was like, I never even thought about that. It was an idea. And I was thinking how many schools there were that we were building. We would have one central location, bring all the resources to bear. This may not apply anymore. I'm just kind of spouting out. I was like, well, that wasn't. Did you throw the idea out? I don't know if he did, but it was different. Like I flipped everything flipped everything around. I'm like, wow, I didn't think that. And the high school needed some things, a more unified group. Now I don't remember the numbers and how it would work, but there were a lot more kids in the middle schools at the time, so it could have. I
think that problem has been eliminated. Because there was there wasn't enough room. Then we had enough room, and then rooms weren't getting filled, and then we needed coverage. Because all the while that I haven't been on the board, I still have been involved. I very much have been involved with what's going on. What questions? Because when I started out, I had a whole list of questions about what's going on in the district. So I've been the last couple of years following through on those things that I was concerned about within the district, to the best of my ability.
Okay. Remember the number is 856-696-0092. My name is Doug Albrecht. I'm a county commissioner. This is Asking Questions, and I'm sitting with
Makema Douglas,
who's running for the
Vineland Board of Education.
Okay. So, and I thought it was I thought it would be neat to have at least get an idea of different candidates. We definitely can't get them all, and but it's good to at least get a different idea or who's running a little bit. There's 8 running, and there's three seats,
2 incumbents.
So we were been talking earlier. We didn't mention it, but early voting started on Saturday. So if you would like to vote, there's 3 places in the county. We already conserve a Vineland here, but the Vineland is Plum and the Boulevard, the fire company number 6. The new fire hall, that's where early voting in Vineland. Being a county person, the women's club in Millville, the 300 East Street is the second one, and in Bridgeton, it's the Sports Museum. I probably butchered the name, but it's in the complex where all the football field is, the midget football field, all the field is. There's a building that they there to early vote. So please come out and avoid the lines, even though there may be lines now. Avoid them. You still can vote on election day, but for the next 10 days, starting on Saturday, you can go early vote at these 3 locations, and it's been very easy. My wife actually went it the other day, and it's very easy. So take advantage of it, because it's nothing more American than the idea of voting for your representative government.
Yes.
So please do that. You take it for granted, it will go away. So just you might as well stand up and vote. And even though you may think that it doesn't count, it absolutely does count. How many votes before? Was there a difference? Well, let me just say this: the last county commissioner vote was 49 votes. Was the difference between winning and losing? So that's nothing. 49. Yeah. There's 14 municipalities, so 3 people in each area would have voted.
Yeah,
it would have done a difference. So.
I'm number 5 on the ballot. Please, I hope that I have won your vote. And please, you really need to have a plan. I personally, I love going on the 4th. I love that whole experience on that day, the excitement of it. But I would encourage you, because we don't know what the lines are going to be like on that day, that you have a plan of where you're going. And if you can early vote, please go do it. Again, I'm Makema Douglas. I'm number 5 on the ballot. And I thank you for your time. I'd really love to have your vote. I hope I've won it today. Feel free to contact me, ask any questions. I think the lines are still open. Call in. I'd love to call in.
If you want to call in, it's 856-696-0092. I do want to bring up, since you're here, different events that happened this past week. I always try to kind of recap where I've gone. I know you go everywhere, so if there's an event I missed, please jump forward and say something about it. I got a chance. This is the senior luncheon. It's Triad sponsors in Millville. It's usually held at the Millville Elks Club. It's Sheriff's Department kind of brings it together. They cook, and the food is good. They had their Thanksgiving, their last one of the year, and it was packed. And there was a lot of. They always bring different programs. The Consumer Affairs is there. Different health services are there for seniors to see. The clerk's office was there. The Department of Aging was there, and all the services they bring to bear. The surrogate's office was there. The surrogates does the wills and other important documents, goes through that, and the person, it's Bill, who's now the Skip Louisi is the surrogate, but the assistant one is someone I've known a long time. He's very knowledgeable. Goes out of his way, so he's a wealth of information. I say, please, if you need, tap his brain. So, I don't know if you ever attend it. I serve food, so that's what I do. I always serve. So a lot of volunteers, the churches there, they help serve, and it's quite an event. But they also have a speaker that comes, talks about and I was trying to remember because I was listening as I was doing it, but there was a scam, one from the FBI that came down about scams, and they explained. And it's things I didn't know, like when they call on the phone and they're saying some. No, do not answer that. And they explained where it was coming from. They knew all about it, but people fall for it. I just, my service writer, she always tells me all the things that happened. Someone just recently, the idea of, hey, you got a fine being levied you by some legal, so the judge or a court system, you got to come pay now, or you're going to come, and people fall for it. And so you
panic,
You panic. So don't call someone. Consumer Affairs, they are your best friends on this. You tell them; they'll tell you if this is a scam. Your banker will tell you if it's a scam or not. So someone you trust, a family friend, don't just go out and do it. A family member, well, just run it by them. So don't just do it. If it does, if it sounds kind of weird, it is weird.
Yep,
right? So don't do it. So. I also got a chance to attend the Taste of Vineland, and were you there?
No.
All right, sorry, but you should go to the
you
sample.
said this past week?
Yeah, yes, it was on Wednesday. It was on Wednesday.
I missed that.
And I'm sure you were there for several times with the food, the sample foods from different restaurants in town. I got a chance to get samples with a lot of the restaurants I've eaten in, but it's a good event, and it's a recognition dinner for the volunteers from the Downtown Improvement District, which I used to run, and Russell Swanson does a great job, and they have a special award that I really special to me, Sam Levy's award, who is the consummate volunteer, the consummate gentleman. When I worked on the Landis Theater, Sam Levy was one of those people that was on our board that when things were falling apart, which it fell apart a lot, you look across and Sam was there. And Sam would say something that would just like as everyone's panicking and figuring out how we're going to survive or do, he would say something and it was like, all right, that's good. Let's go on now. And he did that, and he sometimes, as they used to say, he was a punny guy because he always had puns to say. The dad jokes were his specialty, and but he would laugh. He would make you laugh out of the blue. And I went to his memorial ceremony that people remembered that how special a person he was. That he was everything people thought about him. He was it, but he was that rock that people relied on. And the Landis Theater, I just to say, the Landis Theater is there today because of this group and Sam being part of that group. The Vineland Downtown Improvement District is successful because they had a person like Sam Levy. The Civic, I'll butcher that name, but the Bridgeton, the Bay Area, I'm going to butcher it all. So the Bay Atlantic Civic, which was at the Landis Theater for a little while, but he was their writer, the ghost writer. He was the guy, the promoter, the background guy that did the work as usual. And there's probably 80 other things I've forgotten about that he's done. But that award was given to Donata, who works at Newfield Bank, and she retired now. She's really doing different things, but learning how to play violin, doing a whole bunch of different things. But she was that kind of person, and it's not an award they said is going to be given out every year. It's going to be an award given out to a special people, and it couldn't have gone to a better person. Donata was that person you turned to, just pick up the ball. There's a few other in this town I can mention that would probably be perfect for it, but it was well done. And Sandy Frasinski won. She was also. There's one other person. I think it was Sandy. I know Sandy won an award. I think she originally won that Sam Levy award, but it was it was just a special night, packed.
Where was it held?
It was held at the Eastland, and like I said, it was packed. It was sponsored by many people. It was just it was well done. No pressure. It was a very low key. It was it's nice. It was everybody was relaxed. It was you would have enjoyed it because you like talking to people, and there was plenty of people to talk to there. And so I throw that to you. And then I also the next night the guidance center put on their gala. They honored John Scarpa. Again, a different type of event, but they honored him because what he's done helped other things we take for granted. The CCTEC, his name is on the building. Atlantic Tech is also got, I believe he has his name. We were joking about that because he has his name on Inspira, the oncology department. It's Inspira. His name is on that board, or it might be his brother, but his name is on as a scarf. But I believe it might be in honor of his mom or his dad. But it's still he's behind that. He's the prep. He's a St. Augustine's prep. He's a major sponsor. He has reached out and been a major person that you turn to ask for help. As we were starting our conversation about the mental health, the Guidance Center has been doing it for as long as I can remember. They've been doing that. They probably the original. They've grown. He that night pledged a matching. He $50,000, but he wants a match. So that encourages other people to get involved. They will make it. It sounds like they'll pull it together and it will happen. Okay. But he challenged people, and that's the kind of person he is. He does this, but in order to make lives better, to pull people together, he CCTEC. And I say this CCTEC, but he's actually spurred other high schools to grow, and they have to compete because they can't just they all go here from Millville. They go to Millville. No, they have to have something to offer, and they are. Millville opened the side of their high school. They're
Let's see the expansion.
The expansion just for this, and it's like, wow, they want to compete. They want their kids to stay here. Well, that benefits. Now Millville, Vineland has done it. Cumberland Regional, Bridgeton together have done it. They're doing because they know they have to be better. And so people may say about CCTEC, but what it's done is made other. And
I really like to think, because that's one of the things I'm looking at. Everyone can't afford to be selected to go to CCTEC or the prep. So I would love to see that there was that same kind of competitive spirit or, academic performance, and that we were on level to where the kids actually felt like I'm bringing something to the table. I'm walking away with something that's comparative. I'd really like to see that kind of change.
I hope, because sometimes pushing the kids, they actually respond and actually get better.
Expectation.
You lower the bar, they go to lower the bar. But if you raise the bar and push them a little bit, I think it raises, and I think that's. I hope. Now I'm talking to you from a commissioner to a Board of Ed member, possibly that you will. that and I listen. I'll give a speech to everyone, but you're here, and the bottom line is that sometimes standards have to be
absolutely,
and you help. And I'm glad you said that too. That you help people. You try to get their feet under. You try to understand their circumstances. But once you've got them to where centered a little bit, given them. Now, if you actually challenge them, they can rise above where they're at, and so sometimes say it's tough. Well, yeah, it's going to be tougher out there. So if we're tough here, that's a good thing. We actually had a conversation with somebody today about the prep that St. Augustine. Just for record, I attended. My mom said I had to go 1 year. I went 1 year. I fit all the molds, but I felt my friends and people I knew, and where I was Vineland High School, and I went to Vineland High School, and I enjoyed Vineland High School, and it got me where I went to go to college. So I'm not. I thought that if it's what you put in is what you get out, and I always
and the support. I'm pretty sure you had a support system. Or you had your family that wanted to send you to prep, so I'm sure you had the family to keep you doing well at the high school. So I believe we also have to put some mentoring. I think mentoring is a big part that needs to be added, because everyone doesn't have that family, that traditional support system.
That is absolutely true, but sometimes the family they never learn the lessons that how to be, and that's okay. It's tough. It's going to take generations sometimes to get people to understand. But it only starts with demanding excellence now, and if you do that. I mean, so the whole point was that our schools have actually, I believe, they've raised up, and so people say, I can stay here. This is a good school. I get what I get. I'm getting out. I get what I put into it. I'm getting out. I have good teachers. they're aiming for the right thing. They're pushing. And not everybody's meant to go to college.
Absolutely.
It's not.
Yeah, trades.
So trades, actually, you make income, much more income than I'm probably the trades. So
start a business.
And actually, that's a good thing. You learn that might be that. It's great to have a trade, but what do you want to do? Do you want to do you want to run your operation? Do you want to be train them how to handle money, how to do stuff. All that's part of that.
And harness their gifts and talents. And everyone comes with something you can do very well. So finding that.
I agree. Absolutely. Everybody has something. That's why you're here. Everybody has something to offer, and finding what it is in the book. So, all right. I didn't mean to go off of that, but that was a good program. I'm just finished up here, just want to see my notes. I have to read my handwriting because everybody knows my handwriting's pretty bad. But I had a wedding this weekend, so it was But the Morris River Township had their family day. They're down, which is always nice. I can't tell you how it went because I didn't get a chance to get there. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything that's come up. Do you have something that they were able to take? Because you're everywhere, so...
I try to be. If I can invite it, I try to go.
I know you do.
So I did have the opportunity to go to the homecoming game and the parade, and I want to give a shout out to the Vineland High School girls field hockey team because they're going on to the championship.
All right.
My sorority, I'm in a sorority, Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated, and we do a lot of community work. So it's been Breast Cancer Awareness Month, so we had a chance to honor some survivors in the area, and that was really, really nice. And this past weekend, there was a local Mexican festival on Landis Avenue on Sunday night, and that was really fun. That was nice. I'm like, I wish there was more people that were able to make it, but it was nice that I was able to make it.
Well, that needs to be promoted because it's actually the 500 block is actually a great block. It's come to life, and so absolutely. So I'm glad to hear that, and I did see the pictures, so it's good. So go ahead. You're still rolling up.
Oh no!
I want to mention the Bridgeton Rotary that they invited me to speak, and it had a good crew. The Rotary's a business organization. I hope I say that right, but they go out and do things for the community. And I had an opportunity to go and tell what's going on with the county. Why am I running? Just basically a discussion. There were it was nice to see they invited kids in the high school to come to be part of it. They rotate. I was like, wow, that's kind of neat. So they got a chance to be out with business people, having lunch, to hear the discussion. I thought that was really interesting. But we talked about the middle mile, which the different townships are doing different things, and I explained where we were at. Where we were doing with our jail, all the things I covered in this program 100 times, but it was really interesting, and I was glad to be a part of it. I really appreciate being invited there, and just so you know that's what we do. If people need to know, we will go anywhere. I know you will. That we will go anywhere to speak if someone needs to wants to hear or talk. Different groups have invited me to speak. It's interesting when you're talking to them, the perspective you get from them and what they feel is important. Nothing better than that when you're out talking to them. You get that, hey, all right, I didn't know that. I had a little different tone on it, but that's okay. That's how you learn. That all right, that's how it's affected. Okay. The Bridgeton, I compliment the Bridgeton because Vineland has a Rotary too, but the Bridgeton their civic organizations are very they believe, and it's they're involved, and it's kind of it's a good thing. Millville's similar, Vineland. We're very lucky in this county. The groups we have that get together and we're part of it and understand that it's not just government. And I don't know if you know, but I'm not a big fan of government. I'm in it, but I'm not a big fan of it. A very healthy skepticism of government that I think people getting together and talking and doing different things and working together is more effective.
Absolutely.
A government's a complement to it. It sometimes has to get out of the way of what the people are doing and just follow. All right, we need help. Just follow. That's all. So, okay, that's my comment for that, and thanks for listening to that part of it. So there's There's things coming up this week. As you know, November 4th is election day, so please again vote. It's very important. Exercise your right. So remember that, and that's in all your precincts wherever you go. Remember, the presidential election affects you about that much. Your local elections affect you this much. So, and they're the ones you bump into the store. That's where you walk and you're running down the road and you bump into as they're getting their trash cans out of the road. So they're the people that affect your trash pickup, your electric, your kids' education. So please, this is the important time. This is the time where you select those individuals to lead. So please, go out and do your civic duty. Don't complain later. Pick who you and sometimes when you're voting, you're saying to them, "Hey, I believe this. I believe in you." Then you give them the courage to stand up because they win. They're part of the vote. It helps to get how would you say, to get not your point, but you're backing people that you support. And remember, we say this a lot. 80% of the things they do, you love. And just because, and remember, 20% you may not, but 80% of the time you believe. So remember that. Sometimes you just have to stand up and support people and say, all right, I don't believe you on that. But most of the time you stand for what I believe in. They deserve your backing. But voting is the only thing that really, for a political person, really is the only thing that says is the end, the stamp.
Yeah.
So please, that's how important it is. So that go out of your way on that one day or this early voting right now. You can choose any time you want to go. So remember that we have ironed out the bugs, I believe, in the election. We've tried to do that. So is there anything that we haven't touched on? Your family's here, right? You were born and raised here?
Yes, born and raised here. Taught here. And having gone through this school system, I had a wonderful experience like you. I stayed here. I poured my life into this community. I'm vested. And I'm really thankful for this campaign run. I've had a lot of support, more support this time, more advice. And so there's just a few people I just wanted to quickly just thank. I want to thank, Mayor Fanucci for being as supportive and as he has been, and Celeste Riley, Albert Vargas, Mayor Gruccio. The list is long of people that have really advised and just encouraged me to keep doing what I'm doing, as far as getting people involved and engaged in this process. And like you said, to understand that the local government is the what we should be concerned about, not just the presidential elections, because it's that local government that's going to affect us immediately. So I really hope that I've won your vote, and if you haven't voted already, please have a plan. I'm number 5 on the ballot, and I can't thank you enough, Doug, for inviting me and allowing me to be on your show. It's been a pleasure.
All right. It is a pleasure. I learned a lot. That's how people, by asking questions or talking to people, that's your best thing. It's great to have a side, which you already. Yes. But walking out, because you do go out, that people should go up to you and ask questions, and that's how you learn about people, what they believe, and hopefully you got a little picture of what you and where you're coming from.
And if you haven't seen my signs, which Doug said are everywhere, there are several interviews and articles that you can find on Facebook, on Instagram, about me, what I think, my policies, etc. Oh, here's my card here. So there's more than enough information, and I love to answer questions. Please engage me. So feel free to contact me on any of those platforms. I will be out canvassing all week. I will be out for trick or treat. So hopefully I'll see you on the street. And thank you again.
No problem. Thank you. All right. I don't know if we're done or not, but I appreciate it. Oh, we got 1 minute. So remember, my name is Doug Albrecht. I'm also running for the County Commissioner's Office. Please keep me in mind also. I appreciate it. We have been knocking on a lot of doors. It takes, so when someone comes knocking on your door, it takes time, and we're all busy doing our stuff, but it takes time to do that. I enjoy it, so I'm sorry, but it does take time. Every door, because if they ask questions, that's what you'll like. When someone asks a question, you're like, wow, all right, I'm here. I'm on your porch. I don't get on your porch that often. Have a nice night. Take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.